So, a couple of more notes about the embedded character sheet. We've talked about what the embedded character sheet plugin is. Let's quickly discuss what it is not. So, the embedded character sheet plugin is basically just a way to visualize character sheets in Talespire. The plugin has no concept of what game system you're using. It has no concept of the rules. So just like a pen and paper game, it will allow you to write anything on your character sheet, and it will happily display that, it will happily roll that. So if you put in your character specific data file that your athletics skill is 1d20 plus 100, the character sheet plugin will happily accept that and happily roll that for you, even though that is unlikely to be following the rules of whatever game system you are playing. So there is no policing of the rules within the plugin. That also means there is no validation, so it's not going to check that you have gone over your allotted point by score, or that your math adds up. Again, all it's doing is visualizing whatever you told it to within the game, but it is up to the players to ensure that whatever information is being visualized is valid and conforms to the rules. So the other question that comes up is, what kind of information should I make placeholders for? And again, there's no real answer to that because it is a generic system. That answer will be different based on what game system you're playing. It will be different even for the same game system. It'll be different depending on what you want to show on your character sheet. So typically, when you choose a background file, it will tend to dictate what kind of information you should create placeholders for. So if we're looking at this layout here, likely we would have a placeholder for the character name up here, the class level, the background, the player name, race, alignment, experience points, and then probably we'd have placeholders for each of the attributes and the modifier, the values of the stats, things like AC, initiative, speed, and so on. But nothing is forcing that. You have chosen this background because it is information that you want shown, but the plugin doesn't force you to fill all that information in. It is totally up to you what placeholders you want to create. So you could choose this background and then ignore it completely and just have a placeholder here for features and traits. Similarly, if you really want to track the number of pickles that the characters have eaten each day, go right ahead, make a placeholder for it. Nothing is forcing you to provide placeholders for specific information. The placeholders are totally up to you based on what information you want to see for your character sheet. There is really no wrong answer as to what you choose to display for your character sheet. Obviously, depending on your game system, some information will be more important than others to display, but again, what is displayed really is totally up to you. The plugin just facilitates the display of it, but the content is up to you. It is, however, important that whatever information you decide to place in your layout, that you make sure the data files have the corresponding values for that. Otherwise, it's going to be useless, right? If you have a layout with information on the number of pickles that your characters have consumed, but the data files don't actually provide that information, then really that piece of information on your layout is useless because it won't have any value to show. It should also be noted that the plugin does support transparency, so you can have parts of your background that are transparent. This is really cool when you want to make sort of a heads-up display where you may have information on the screen about your character that's basically open all of the time or most of the time. So in such a case, you probably don't want a solid character sheet because it would be taking up a lot of space and you wouldn't be able to see the Talespire in the background. But you could create a character sheet that has all of the surrounding parts where you don't have information transparent, thus being sort of a heads-up display where you can play Talespire and have that information on the screen without consuming a lot of the screen space. The other feature that is quite nice about the embedded character sheet, unlike the previous predecessor, the character sheet plugin, is that you can actually edit values directly from the embedded character sheet plugin. Now, you do need to conform to a few rules for that to work, but essentially when you have a placeholder, when you middle click on the text, it will allow you to change the value of that that placeholder if the placeholder consists of roles that have multiple placeholders. So for example, let's say you have athletics, skill, and it consists of strength and proficiency bonus. This editing feature will allow you to change the value of the last placeholder. So one question might be, well, if I have something like athletics, where I want to make the skill value be the value of the strength modifier plus proficiency bonus, how can I then go editing that? Well, the correct solution to that is don't edit the athletics skill. Make that one make the athletics skill static, and then edit the strength modifier or the proficiency bonus. So if you make those available on your character sheet, the user can edit those. Those would then have only one placeholder, either the strength modifier or the proficiency bonus. And when you update those, if you've created your layout properly so that athletics value is determined from the actual strength modifier and proficiency bonus placeholders, your athletics will update automatically as a result of changing your strength or your proficiency bonus. And that's how you can then get around the fact that only the last placeholder for each element can be changed this way. There's also a option for a fast change. So when you normally use the value editing, you middle click, you'll get a dialog that pops up and shows the current value and allows you to enter a new value. There is a fast change feature where you can basically increase or decrease a value quickly. That is slightly more advanced topic because you need to basically specify which elements support that feature and which do not, and you also need to conform to certain restrictions to make that happen. So that is an advanced topic, but it is discussed in the documentation. So if you are interested in setting up fast change for your attributes, you can do that by reading the documentation. And now that's really it.